Tom from Dubleeble, and in this video we're going to be starting off an intro to a new series, CSS3. What is CSS? CSS is an acronym for Cascading Style Sheets. It's a powerful styling method for websites that many popular websites today take advantage of, and I think you should too. CSS does not create objects. It does not really do anything other than modify attributes of already existing HTML objects. CSS3 is now a standard. Well, sort of. With browser compatibility increasing all the time, soon I would like to be able to say CSS3 is now a standard, but I can't just yet. The easiest way to think of or learn CSS is to split it up into 4 categories, including traditional CSS, positional CSS, transform CSS, and CSS animations. Traditional CSS consists of colors and backgrounds, fonts and font family, borders and outlines, text alignment. You may see here that all these could be done with HTML attributes, and you are 100% correct. The only thing in transitional CSS that you can't do with HTML attributes is link styles. Now, saying that, traditional CSS compatibility is really compatible. It consists of mostly CSS 2.1, which means it works on every browser. Well, at least since IE7. HTML attribute counterpart, that comes in, I'm saying that the CSS 2.1 or transitional CSS is just a counterpart to HTML attributes. For example, the HTML attribute for background color is BG color. Well, CSS is just background, and then instead of having an equal and then quotes or single quotes around your attribute value, you have a colon and a semicolon. Now when it comes to positional CSS, it's again very compatible, and it's used basically to position objects. Padding and margin, setting a position of absolute, fixed, and relative, object alignment, and again, mostly CSS in 2.1. These are the main attributes of positional CSS, and it has a lot more little features that will go more in depth in later tutorials. Transforms in CSS. Mostly CSS3, so there is some compatibility issues that we may run into with even IE8 and IE9, older versions of Firefox, Opera, older versions of Safari, but most modern browsers support these features, which are good. Transforms in CSS have reflections, rotations and skews, gradients, shadows, rounding, but just to show you how powerful it is, the image to the right was created with mostly CSS transforms. Animations in CSS can animate almost any attribute listed before in CSS. There's only 2 main triggers though. The hover, when you hover your mouse over something, or when something becomes focused or active. For example, when you click on a text field. Combined with JavaScript, you can get way more triggers out of animations in CSS. Also, you could combine it with HTML5, which highly recommended to do the same. Animations such as fades, translations, real-time reflections, reverses, and more. What you can do with CSS3 nowadays is just so powerful. Pros and cons. Positive, extremely powerful. Faster than truly speedy development. For example, you could have one side of your screen for HTML, the other side of the screen for CSS. Because cascading style sheet, it's organized, simple, all your styling's in one place. If you need to change, for example, let's say you have many pages. Most websites do have many pages. And you all go on a general theme or style. You change one style sheet or CSS sheet and they all change. Speedy development. Consistency. And this comes in play with basically what I just said. You have one CSS file, you change it, it changes everything, and it just makes things look nicer, be more consistent, and is really the reason why you do use CSS. And nowadays, this is becoming more and more prominent. I would say before, not so much, but with modern browsers, you do something in CSS, it's going to look the exact same thing on every browser. Well, modern browsers. Negatives. There are some compatibility issues, especially with old browsers. It can have to do with a lot with extra coding, a lot of semantic changes compared to traditional HTML programming, and the lack of freedom that CSS causes you to do with certain structures and such. But overall, I think CSS is great for any website. You can use it in many ways, and if you're not using CSS, your website most likely just doesn't look good. Unless, I guess, you could be using a lot of pictures, but even then, it's going to be slow. It's going to look all table-y, and it's just not going to look good. More tutorials at Dubleeble.com, created by Tom Stagenay, and we're going to be continuing this tutorial series with a whole bunch of tutorials on CSS. So, if you want to continue watching, go to Dubleeble.com, check it out.